Bill, congratulations on the publication of your new book, Facing the Truth, Understanding and Reforming Men Who Buy Sex.
Thank you.
So, Bill, what inspired you to write this book in the first place?
I think there are probably a couple reasons. Several years ago, our church asked us to be the liaison for our church to the Samaritan women. My wife and I knew nothing about the Samaritan women or about sexual trafficking at that point. It was a brand new world to us. We were both deeply disturbed by, of course, what we saw, and I in particular wondered how men could possibly do this to little girls and women, and it really bothered me, and I began to think about why that was the case. And Jean Allard and I talked at several points about why men were involved in this. And finally, Jean just looked at me and said, well, you know, there are lots of books out there, very, very good books written by women about the female victims of sex trafficking, but there are next to no books written by men about why men do this. And I thought about that, and after having done the research for this book, she's quite right. I found only one other book that had been written about why men do this, and I thought it was a really interesting, good topic, and one that would potentially shed new light on this question. So in response to Jean's request, I undertook the research and the writing for this book.
Well, Bill, in the writing of Facing the Truth, what are some things you learned that surprised you or stood out?
I think what surprised me more than anything was that while there are many reasons, I think I identified 9 different types of male behavior that leads men to engage in buying sex. But by far, the most important, I think, was those men who become sex addicts. And I never realized until I did the work on the book that men do in effect become addicts. Just like we have alcoholics, we have drug addicts, we have gambling addicts, men truly become sex addicts. And one of the major reasons for this is internet and internet pornography. And many men, and if you listen to the psychologists, they give you astounding figures for the percentage of men who watch internet pornography on a regular basis. If you do that, I am now convinced, having done the research, that it changes your brain pathways. And by that I mean that excessive watching of pornography on the internet releases what are called neurotransmitters in your brain. They're all different kinds, from dopamine to delta phosphate to serotonin to oxytocin to epinephrine and many others. And they have the effect of changing your brain pathways, and they change very much the front part of your brain, so that area traditionally is the area where you have a lot of self-control, where you give conscious, careful thought before you make decisions. But when these neurotransmitters are released in your brain, they begin to upset that part of the front part of your brain. And they begin to, in fact, physically shrink that part of your brain. And so you are less able to exert self-control, more inclined to impulsivity, to making decisions based on the way you feel at a particular time. And these chemicals that are released encourage you to get more of those chemicals by watching even more internet pornography. So it's like an alcoholic who needs more and more alcohol to achieve a high, or a drug addict for the same purpose. You need more and more viewing of internet pornography to get the kind of high or pleasant feeling that people derive from doing that. And of course, then the end result is you become both a sex addict and in effect a drug addict because of the chemicals released in your brain. And many men then cross over and go from viewing internet pornography to actually buying or renting women in the sex trafficking trade. So I think that really did surprise me.
Well, finally, Bill, this is a one-of-a-kind look at the trade of men who buy sex and reforming men who buy sex. For people who are interested, how do they buy copies of your book?
Well, you'll see on the poster next to me here that the easiest way probably is to contact me by email. And my email, I don't know if you can read it on the poster, but is Bill, HD as in dog, HDLY @verizon.net. If you're interested, the book is $29.95. just send me a note and give me your home address so I know how much to add for postage, and I'll send you the bill, and after payment, I'll mail the book to you. That by far is the easiest way to do it, and it should get the book to you in a matter of a few days.
All right, thank you, Bill, and congratulations again on your book, Facing the Truth.
Thank you very much.